but a lot of the tomatoes, the field tomatoes that are grown in my hometown area, they're all the ones that you use in canning. So if you're buying a can of tomatoes at the grocery store, like diced or crushed, whole, whatever, seasoned, tomato sauces, that's all probably stuff that has come from Ontario. And on top of that, tomatoes are an excellent source of vitamin C, which goes perfect with the iron that we're having in our burgers. Vitamin C helps you absorb iron much better. It's just like how when you buy milk, it always says vitamin D is added. Vitamin D helps you absorb calcium, and vitamin C helps you absorb iron. And funny enough, if you have calcium and iron at the same time, you're not going to absorb either one of them. They stop you from being able to absorb each other. And actually, caffeine of everything, it's if you have caffeine like cream in your coffee or milk in your coffee, you won't absorb the calcium because it completely stops you from being able to absorb that. Fun fact of the day, most people don't know that one. The other sources of nutrients for tomatoes is that it's high in biotin, copper, folate, vitamins A, K, and E, and it also has dietary fiber. Most people don't know that. So I'm just gonna check these burgers. Where'd that other fork go? There it is. Grab my fork, and I just want to check them to see if they're still pink. If they're pink, we want them to keep cooking. Yeah, those are still pink, so we want them to keep cooking. All right, so we've got our tomatoes ready for our burgers. We've got the lettuce ready. And then now we're gonna move on to making the salads. So I'll slide this over a little bit. So we're gonna make a homemade salad dressing today. It's gonna be a honey mustard dressing because honey production is huge in Canada. And the honeybee is actually a species they had to bring into Canada. It's not native. But it does help when different types of honey will have different colors depending on what they use to pollinate. So if they use a canola plant versus like a mustard plant or a flax plant to pollinate, that honey is going to look a different color. So that's where that color comes from. And Canadian honey is actually really on the world stage of honey production. It's really well known and it's high value as well. People value our honey, especially in the States. I'm just gonna get this mustard ready. So I'm using a Dijon mustard to get that tangy spice you get from a Dijon. And this one's actually a honey Dijon, so it kind of is a win-win. All right, I don't really use measuring cups or measuring spoons in my cooking. I like to just eyeball it. So we're gonna add in. So we're gonna add a few tablespoons of honey. And like I said, when you're cooking, whatever you like better. If you like a sweeter than a tangy or a spice, add more honey to your recipe. We're gonna add in some balsamic vinegar. Let me just get this thing to open. Oh, it's like a wine bottle. You gotta undo it. I guess I should have opened this before. There we go. Alrighty. So just a little bit. All you need is a little bit of balsamic. If you do like more of that vinegar flavor, you can add more. Again, play around with it. So the one really good thing about mustard is it's actually a major commodity in Canada, especially in the Western Prairies. You've probably seen it while you're driving, but you didn't notice it. You probably thought it was canola because they look a lot alike. Which one am I using? Oh no, I'm just doing it. So with our camelina oil, this is the camelina oil. It's one of my favorites to use. It's from a company called Three Farmers. They're based in Saskatchewan and quite honestly come from 3 different farmers' fields. I don't have pictures. So the reason why I like it so much is because it's got one of the lowest amount of saturated, that's your bad fats, and in its composition, and it's comprised of mostly of the good unsaturated fats like the omega-3, 6, and 9. So I'll usually gauge it. I'll use about a quarter to a third of a cup. It depends on the size of my salad and how much dressing I want it to have on it. Alrighty, so next we're gonna add the mustard. Mustard's a nice choice because it's low calorie, cholesterol free, and it's a source of unsaturated good fats like we've been talking about, and actually protein. So we're gonna add in, let me shake that a little bit more. It also has calcium, iron, manganese, phosphorus, zinc, magnesium, and selenium, to name a few of its nutrients. So I'm adding in, we'll say 3 tablespoons, why not? A lot of times I'll smell it. You can do the little taste test to try it out too. And you wanna go, if you like it more tangy, add more mustard. That's just gonna help. I am gonna check the burgers. They are sizzling a little bit. Let's see how they're doing. I'll flip the ones I just put on. Yeah, you can see the cheese coming off of them. Nice. There we go. So let's try these ones out again. With this lighting being so bright, it's still hard to see. All right, those are still cooking. So we'll continue on with our salad dressing. So we've got our 4 main ingredients there. We've got the honey, balsamic vinegar, oil, and now mustard. The one really good thing about using mustard, and I like to use some type of mustard in all of my recipes, whether it be in like a liquid form or a ground mustard, and that's because it acts as an emulsifier in your salad. So does anyone ever have that issue when you have like an oil-based salad dressing and it just drips off your lettuce leaves? Yes, no? Not sure? It all droops to the bottom of your bowl and you end up with it all covered in the bottom base of your I guess salad bowl or container, whatever. The mustard actually, so it acts as the emulsifier so that the salad dressing will stick to your lettuce leaves and your vegetables rather than just dripping off. So the one other really good thing about camelina oil, not just because it's flavorless, a lot of times you'll have a bit of an aftertaste in some salad dressing, or oil, sorry, like an olive oil. It doesn't have a flavor, so it'll just absorb the flavors that you're cooking with, whether it be in a salad dressing, so it'll take on the flavor of the honey and the mustard, or if you're using it on the grill or whatever, it'll take on the flavors you're cooking with. So I'm just gonna keep mixing this until it's a nice consistency. So the other thing, when you are cooking with it over heat, camelina oil has one of the highest smoking points, meaning that it's not gonna disintegrate when it gets heated as easily anyway. So that's why you won't just see, oh, why is everything burning in the bottom of my pan? Oh, well, that olive oil just kind of is gone. So that's the one nice thing about it. It'll actually stick. So that's looking good. You want to make sure that the oil and the mustard is all mixed up in together. And then I'm gonna plate by ear. I'm gonna give it a sniff. Yeah, that's smelling pretty good. I am gonna add a little bit more honey in case people like it a little bit sweeter. And I am gonna add a bit more mustard. The other thing you can do is if you wanted it a little bit runnier and not as thick, you can add more oil. So we're gonna mix that up. I will add a little bit more oil, just because we do have a larger salad. And you can use a whisk, you can use a fork. I prefer a fork just because it scoops to the bottom that much easier. Sometimes a whisk can be a little bit big to have in a small bowl, but you can use either, or a spoon even, because it's not like you have anything that has to evaporate. If you're using ground mustard, I would definitely recommend a fork or a whisk. All right, that's ready to go. So we're just gonna pour it in and then we're gonna use the salad tongs. There we go. All right, where did I put the salad tongs? Ah, they're there. Alrighty. So you just want to give it a nice mix so it's all mixed together. In this salad, I just rinsed off the lettuce and cut it up with some cucumbers and yellow pepper. There we go. And then I'm gonna top it with some of our chickpeas as well and lentils. And that's just gonna add extra protein. You can have it on its own, and it's almost like replacing a crouton because they're nice and crunchy. Those are also from Free Farmers. So that's looking pretty good. The last stuff I like to do when I'm making the burgers is I'll sprinkle them with salt right on top. And I have my salt mixture set so that it's more granular, or it's less granular or less fine, so it'll leave chunks of salt on it. I didn't add any yet, so this will add that saltiness that it needs. And you can already see it kind of starting to evaporate a bit. There we go. So let's check those again. They are so close. Flip them again. Some of them are done. I'm just gonna grab, we'll put them in one of these. For now, I didn't think that would hurt. So the ones that are done, we'll just stick them over here. And they'll stay warm together. Let's check these one by one. And again, you wanna make sure there's no pink. This one still has a bit of pink. And it's okay if they break in half, because I'll end up breaking the buns in half anyway, making them smaller sliders so that everybody gets a taste. Flip this one.